each and every person does go through in a unique, completely different way from everyone else. And often it's extremely difficult because that process of initiation can be something that is so dark or challenging or exciting or scary, and it was all that for me. And it was all that just because I was living and just because I was doing things that I'd never done before, but it was an initiation nonetheless. And I'd like to read one more thing. I lied, actually, to you. Sorry. That was not the very last thing that I wrote. The last thing that I wrote was sitting on the plane maybe 2 weeks later. And it's, yeah, just going to read it. So within this whole thing, there's tons of poems, all of which were written during my time there. This one, it's not really a poem, but it's a narrative, I suppose. It's called The Journey. The journey begins again, or is it the end? If the end is here, then the end is the beginning from where it all started. It being this new mind-bending chapter in my years. Define mind-bending. I cannot. I don't know where I've come from because it happened so fast. I'm not trying to say I'm simple, but I feel like I was born yesterday. Wasn't it just not so long ago that I was learning to tie my shoes? Some hours maybe? But I have so many memories. Or are they dreams of the past or another life? When was I in high school? Was? You mean to say I'm not there anymore? Surrounded by friends playing games while the morning verse is said, getting the evil eye from the headmaster as he inwardly laughs at the way we add "wh" to the end of each word? We respect him, so we are silent. But we know, like us, like me, he is still a child at heart. One can never smile too much, and we're at it again. I gaze into the world, over-exaggerating the way the tall kid spoke a few days ago in elementary school, where I regret the times I laughed at cruel jokes, where I temporarily crushed the spirits of my future friends by thinking that my long hair made me cooler than them. What the fuck is cool? Just like the years of the past, cool does not exist. It's something fabricated by people who are either uncomfortable or somehow unsatisfied or ashamed of who they are. Or the people who just don't know who they are. Cool is a facade to turtle shell what's real. Cool did not exist last week in kindergarten. The only thing that mattered was making sure I spent as much time outside. The games, the chasing of girls, the blonde hair and the pigtails, the flowery skirts and the innocent love. Who knew what life was? Who cared? We were alive, truly alive. Who knows what life is? Who cares? Me. I'm alive. I'm living what I think is life, but time is my stumbling block. I can't keep up with it, and when I try, I miss things on account of the speed. Things were slower last month when a thing called school was for the big kids, when playtime was daytime, and as many moans were moaned, deep down I looked forward to being sung to sleep by the incredible bearded man I loved so much without even meaning to. Life was running into my mother on her knees in the field, wanting to help so bad, but not having the attention span. Life was swing sets and tree forts, tricycles and sing-alongs, buggy rides and frog catching, ants in my underwear and fighting with my brother, climbing trees with Dad on our long walks in the woods with a sandy blonde dog that belonged to 20 people. Life was faces of the beginning, the black ones and the white ones, the yellow ones and the red ones. Life was sunshine and breathing. Life was this only a month ago. but too much has happened for time to be paced in months. In truth, or at least how I've learned it, I've been alive for years. It was more than a month ago when school was for big kids. It was years ago, not last week, when we baked a cake with raisins and strawberries and flowers for each and everyone's birthday and smelled the smell of rosemary while lentil soup simmered in the kitchen and we played with crayons and blocks on the big rug in the middle of the wooden room, or savored the one chestnut we were given, nibbling it until the very end of the story, before I dozed off and then awoke surprised to find my dad ready to drive me back through winter wonderland to our 6-room apartment, where I would immediately resume play after being given a toasted pita with peanut butter by pretending to be a mouse behind the sofa. It was years ago, not last week, when I stood on tiptoes to look out the window to the back parking lot and watch my mother direct traffic with her umbrella, making sure that each and every one of us piled into the right car with the right family. More than a week ago that the rain stopped, just long enough for us to walk from the car to the house before resuming its pitter-patter assault on our slate roof. More than a week ago that I felt embarrassed about going to church and being confirmed because I thought it wasn't cool. More than a week ago that the innocent childhood love turned into the lust and desire for sex as the hormones raged but weren't enough to elude my extreme shyness with the girlfriend I'd liked since kindergarten that had become my 2-year dugout lover. More than a week ago that I held her hand and walked her home, failed to kiss her goodnight, but still skipped off with only a child's happiness, feeling like the biggest, proudest man on earth. All these things I feel like they happened so recently, but the common understanding of time will only show me that it was years and years. Only a week ago, it seems, I handed the rose to the first grader at 8th grade graduation, just as I had been handed one a month prior. But then, yesterday, I went to high school and met all the friends I have today. I went to Horton Center and met all the other friends I have today. It feels like only hours ago I was sitting on this very plane of which I sit now, awaiting the unknown. But now I know. Zimbabwe. Forever will it be in my heart. But in 10 years, will it feel like I was just there last week? As it does now when I was sent to the office almost daily? Or will the common understanding of time finally prove its definition? I have no answers to these questions. Perhaps in some days, or some weeks, or some months, I'll discover something to quench my perplexity. But who knows? Tomorrow could be years away. Growing up is scary.